What up, guys? Tonight we're going to be talking about weak men and why they are the most dangerous people in this world. Now, just think about it for a second. That doesn't quite make sense, does it? Weak men? Well, they're weak. They got no power. How are they the most dangerous people? Well, let me tell you. You see, take for example, a beggar, a bum, homeless person, right? They're starving. They're parched. They got no water. They got nothing to eat. They're on the brink of death. So, hey, if they find some food in the dumpster, what are they going to do? They're going to fight tooth and nail and pry that out of the grasps of a rat, of the ants, of the cockroaches. They're going to do whatever it takes to beat off all those competitors so they can consume that piece of leftover food. Hey, makes sense, doesn't it? Whatever is vital, whatever is rare, you're gonna expend all your efforts to obtain. Now, if you're at a buffet, are you gonna punch someone in the face to get at that snow crab or that cheesecake or that piece of sushi, whatever the case may be? You really gonna enact violence so you get that piece of food when you know clearly that is a damn buffet and they're always gonna constantly bring out new supplies, refill the plates? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Of course you're not gonna do any of that. You're just gonna wait for it to come. Now the same can be said when it comes to dating as well. If you only get one woman who's interested in you, maybe like once every half a year, well, let's just say you manage to get her out on a date and she rejects you. Perhaps your pictures were good enough for her to go, all right, let's go on a date. But once you open your mouth, you immediately cause her to turn a 180 and run off. Well, if you only get 2 girls every year, of course, you're going to hunt her down. You're going to blow up her phone. Start pleading, start begging. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I said. We got off on the wrong foot. Please give me another chance. I'll do whatever it takes to make it right. Now we all know emotions and logic do not go together at all. In fact, it's oil to water. They don't mix. You try to present that girl with a PowerPoint presentation, an Excel spreadsheet, completely listing out all the pros of why they should date you? Nah, hell no. Of course, it's just going to turn her off. The more you try, the more she's going to pull away. That's how it works. But like I said, if you got a lot of girls waiting for you, you get like 10 matches a week, a day even. Do you even care if this girl ghosts you? Offends you? Doesn't show up? Of course not. Yeah, maybe for that day, you'd be a little peeved. You'd be upset that you got stood up. But guess what? You're gonna go right back and see 10 more girls waiting for you, waiting to go out on dates with you. You'll be good to go. But if you only got one match, oh yeah, you're gonna be seething, all right? You're gonna be in that corner in your mom's basement going, oh my God, how dare this girl? How dare this? Ooh, I'm gonna show her, I'm gonna enact my revenge. I worked so hard to get out on a date with her, and she stood me up. You know how it goes. Well, actually, let me take that back. I hope you don't know how that goes, because, hey, I don't want you doing anything stupid. Now, like I said, if you got a lot of matches, yeah, you're going to be like, ah, man, screw this. She ain't worth it. Next. It's also the same thing when it comes to money. Now, I've had certain instances where, yeah, some people were strapped for cash. We don't want to let that ruin friendships, right? But unfortunately, that's just not the case. Some of your friends who may be uh, desperate for money, they'll hit you up. And you being a longtime friend, of course, you're going to agree, right? But hey, if they're really that strapped for cash and they're that bad with their own finances, what makes you think that they'll pay you back if they can't even pay back loans, the bank, where they actually have legitimate interest rates going up, charging them more and more? If they can't pay those back, what makes you think they will pay you back? And hey, the reality is that's usually what breaks up friendships. When you loan them money and they can't pay you back. Sometimes they just go, hey, thanks, sucker, and dip. Maybe that's a high fine to pay to find out true colors. But nevertheless, you gotta pick your friends right. Like I said, weak men are the most dangerous. And where they're weak at is their finances. And they're not the type of people you want to be with. You want to be with people who are capable of paying their fines down, being on top of their game, have no debt. Then of course, you gotta do the right thing and cut these people off. See, everything in life, it all comes down to supply and demand. Whatever is scarce, people are naturally going to covet it the most. And it all depends on how desperate they are. This is the case that happened to me. A childhood friend of mine. I mean, I'm sure you heard of this story if you watched my previous videos, but I've known this guy for 20 years. He was my closest friend. But unfortunately, he just couldn't get his hands off women. He craved women. And they just didn't like him like that. He was always hitting up brothels, prostitutes. But hey, when it came time that I got a girlfriend, well, he didn't waste his time to put his moves on her. Now let's just say anyone who's got an abundance of women, they're a ladies' man. Does it make sense to covet a best friend's woman and actually poach her or even attempt it? Of course not. Why would you jeopardize any friendship whatsoever? It just doesn't make any sense. The risk, the reward, the trade-off, you're going to blow up your entire friend circle of friends rather. You're going to become a laughingstock, hated by everyone that knows you, that this story is inevitably going to spread to. It just doesn't make any sense. But his desperation beat out his rationale. He thought it was worth it. Giving up all the friends that he built up throughout his childhood for this one girl. All right. Well, he made his choice. But don't be that guy. Any sane person will know that's a boneheaded choice, boneheaded decision. But that's what happens when you're desperate. Do the best you can to become the best version of yourself. And by doing so, you give yourself the best opportunity and the best choices, an abundance of choices where you're spoiled. You won't have to settle for one thing. naturally you will pick the best of the best. Back to the buffet analogy. You've only got a limited stomach size. You're not going to eat the cheap foods. You're not going to down all the soda you can and call it a day. Of course not. You're going to go for the oysters, for the clams, the snow crabs, the sushi, all the best stuff. You know what I'm talking about. That's why you got to put yourself in the position where you're spoiled for choice. And what position is that? A strong man. And by strong man, you already know. You're at the top. You're at the apex, the zenith. We're all in this together. Catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.